for being here. This very important subject, Mr. Harrison. Thank you especially. I can only imagine the pain, but I want you to know that your courage is an inspiration to all of us, and thank you. Thank you for being here. Mr. Shapiro, let me ask you, and kind of to follow up on Dr. Bouchon's questions about distracted driving. We concentrate a lot of times on DWI and impaired driving, but distracted driving is a big problem. I mean, we've all experienced it, and listen, I'm as bad as anybody, I admit, and I need to do better with that. But distracted driving, as we have more of this, and we do have more of it, because we're a society now that is, you got to have it right now. I mean, the phone rings, you got to answer it right now. If you get an email, you got to answer it right now, and that's just the kind of society we are right now. Are there any ways to educate and incentivize drivers and like me that are distracted to change our behavior?
I don't know about incentivizing you because I don't want to violate any ethics rules. But in terms of, there's a huge number of innovative technological solutions that people are selling. There's, for example, if let's say you're a teenager, you want to track what they're doing and how they're driving, you can. Insurance companies are increasingly saying you could get a lower rate if we could put, track your driving for a while or always to see whether.
So there's a financial.
There are some marketplace things out there. There's a lot of software. There's a lot of technology. Increasingly, for example, there's technology which monitors your eyes, and if your eyes are away from the road for more than a couple of seconds, it sends off an alert. There's that, as I said, like if you go over the line in increasingly large number of cars, you get a passive indication, your wheel vibrates or your seat vibrates, so there's a noise which lets you know you've done that. So there's a lot of solutions out there. But the fact that there are technological solutions doesn't mean they're activated. For example, with drunk driving, we've known how to cure drunk driving for 30 years. We know you could test someone before they start their car, and we've chosen, we collectively as government and people have chosen not to implement that. But I think we need to do more in public awareness. I think we need to do more in terms of publicizing these things that are out there, and I think the insurance companies have their role to play. But yeah, it's definitely a problem. And there's different state laws. Like if you're at one of these lights here in Virginia, where our organizations, but you can wait there for 2 minutes, and how could you resist looking at your device? But in some states, that's illegal. So
Right. And in the state of Georgia, we've made it illegal, or the legislature has passed legislation to make it illegal, and I welcome that. I think it is necessary, and certainly we've got to change that. I understand. You've talked a lot about self-driving cars, Mr. Shapiro, and that's obviously the wave of the future. What do you see as the most impactful technologies that are coming out there? I mean, if you had to list, this is really going to be a game changer. Is there something like that out there?
Well, self-driving cars is the answer, but there's many steps to get to the answer. It's not digital where you're either there or you're not. I mean, it's easier to do in climates where there aren't snow and hail and rain and things like that. And there's so many things and steps and different companies along the way that have to do things really, really well to make this work. I mean, we have the camera technologies got down dramatically. Some of the new cars today have several cameras on them, but someone has to process that. And for example, there's something called LiDAR, which is very expensive. It's a couple $1,000s now, but that's really allows, like, cameras aren't the only answer, although Tesla takes the approach that cameras are the only answer. The problem with cameras don't really work that well at night, and they see two-dimensionally. LiDAR actually picks up where cameras wear off. So I'm not going to say there's one answer. I'm going to say the answer is redundancy and making sure that cars are safe.
Let me ask you this, not to interrupt you, but let me ask you, I've got my truck. It's a 04. It's got 408,000 miles on it. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have any of this technology. Is there any kind of aftermarket technology that can be applied? Because the average person keeps a car for, 10 and a half, 11 years?
It's about almost approaching 12 years now, and you're absolutely right. This is going to be an evolution over years, and there will be aftermarket solutions, but I don't know if there'll be total solutions. So the question is, But if we have, it's like, think of the measles vaccine, if you will. If the higher percentage of self-driving cars we get out there, the safer everyone is.
Right.
And how we address the last 10 or 15, 20%, I think there should be some good, healthy discussion. It could be your car might have, even though it's old, might have higher insurance premiums on it because you're less safe than everyone else. So we will get to those problems. Those are not the big problems. I think the issue is how do we get this legislation passed, which came out of this committee the last Congress, bipartisan, unanimously. How do we get it so we're working as a country towards a goal? And that goal, in my view, could be clearly stated. By X date, we have X number of fewer percentage deaths, and that's what we should be doing as a
Right.
country.
Well, thank you again. Thank you all for being here. And I yield back.